Imagine a man rising from the shadows of a troubled childhood to lead one of the most brutal regimes in history. A man who would ignite the deadliest war the world had ever seen, causing the deaths of millions. His name, Adolf Hitler. Stay with us as we explore the life of this infamous dictator, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth historical documentaries like this one. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889, in a small town in Austria called Braunau am Inn. His father, Alois Hitler, was a strict man who worked as a customs officer, and his mother, Clara, was a caring woman who deeply loved Adolf. Despite this, Hitler's early life was far from happy. He had a rocky relationship with his father, who opposed his artistic ambitions, and as a result, young Adolf grew up feeling misunderstood and frustrated. From a young age, Hitler showed an interest in art and dreamed of becoming a painter. However, his dreams were shattered when he was rejected by the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna twice. These rejections deeply affected him and pushed him towards a different path, one that would change the course of history forever. After his failure to enter the art world, Hitler lived in Vienna, where he struggled financially and spent years in poverty. During this period, he developed his early political ideas, becoming increasingly drawn to the nationalist and anti-Semitic movements that were gaining traction in Austria at the time. Hitler blamed many of society's problems on Jews and believed in the superiority of the Germanic, or Aryan, race. In 1914, when World War I broke out, Hitler eagerly volunteered to fight for Germany, even though he was still an Austrian citizen. He served as a soldier on the Western Front, where he was injured several times and eventually awarded the Iron Cross for bravery. The war had a profound impact on Hitler, reinforcing his sense of patriotism and fueling his hatred toward Jews, whom he believed had betrayed Germany. After Germany's defeat in 1918, Hitler, like many Germans, felt humiliated by the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles. He believed that Germany had been stabbed in the back by internal enemies, including communists and Jews. This sense of betrayal became central to his worldview and would later shape his rise to power. In 1919, Hitler joined a small nationalist group called the German Workers' Party, which later became the Nazi Party. Hitler quickly rose to prominence within the party due to his powerful and captivating speeches. He was a master of rhetoric, able to channel the anger and frustration many Germans felt in the post-war years. He blamed Germany's problems, hyperinflation, unemployment, and the loss of national pride, on the Weimar Republic, communists, and Jews. In 1923, Hitler and the Nazi Party attempted a coup in Munich, known as the Beer Hall Putsch, hoping to overthrow the German government. However, the coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison. During his time in prison, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, My Struggle, a book that outlined his vision for Germany's future. In it, he expressed his belief in the need for living space, Lebensraum, for Germans, the superiority of the Aryan race, and his desire to eradicate Jews. After his release from prison, Hitler set about rebuilding the Nazi Party. Through skillful propaganda, he attracted a growing number of followers. By 1933, after a period of political instability, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he consolidated power, banning all other political parties and establishing a dictatorship. He used fear, propaganda, and violence to silence his opponents and strengthen his grip on the country. Once in power, Hitler wasted no time in implementing his radical ideas. He immediately began rebuilding Germany's military, violating the Treaty of Versailles, and preparing the country for war. His government enacted racist laws, like the Nuremberg Laws, which stripped Jews of their rights, and promoted the idea of racial purity, positioning the Aryan race as superior. In 1938, Hitler annexed Austria in what became known as the Anschluss, and soon after, he demanded the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with a large ethnic German population. European leaders, eager to avoid another war, agreed to Hitler's demands at the Munich conference. However, Hitler's ambitions didn't stop there. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, sparking the beginning of World War II. Hitler's military strategy, known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, allowed Germany to quickly overrun much of Europe, including France, Denmark, Norway, and the Netherlands. While World War II was raging, Hitler's regime also carried out one of the most horrific acts in human history, the Holocaust. Driven by his hatred of Jews, Hitler and his Nazi government orchestrated the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, as well as millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, political opponents, and prisoners of war. This mass genocide was carried out in concentration camps across Europe, where innocent people were brutally murdered in gas chambers or died from starvation and disease. The Holocaust remains one of the darkest chapters in human history, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked hatred and bigotry. As the war continued, Hitler made several critical mistakes, including his decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941. This move stretched Germany's resources thin and eventually led to devastating defeats, particularly the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943. At the same time, the United States entered the war, and by 1944, Allied forces were closing in on Germany from both the East and the West. By 1945, Hitler's once mighty Third Reich was collapsing. As Soviet troops entered Berlin, Hitler retreated to his underground bunker. On April 30, 1945, with Germany on the brink of defeat, Hitler took his own life, along with his wife, Eva Braun. His death marked the end of the Nazi regime, but the horrors of his rule would haunt the world for decades to come. Adolf Hitler's rise and fall is a sobering reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, hate, and blind ambition. His actions led to the deaths of millions and left a scar on the world that is still felt today. If you found this video informative and want to learn more about history's most important figures and events, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video.